My name is Jeff Knowles, and my book is Telaria River, Incursion of Chaos. I have a full-time government job, and for quite a few years I've been a what I'd like to think is artistic portrait photographer as a second job, kind of my creative counterbalance to my government job. And in a way, that's how this project actually started that led to this book. I had a couple goals when I started this in terms of the writing part and the imaging part. And one of them was that I wanted to try to break out of the stereotypes in the sort of fairy tale realm. There are very few fairy tales that actually involve fairies, fairy folk, right? There's some excellent fantasy, including fairy tale types of stories out there. But I noticed a lot of them really follow certain kind of formulas in terms of the plot, and often rely on the same kinds of things for the drama. It's sort of classic good versus evil. There's some villain. There might be dragons that are, involved. And that's all sort of all good, but I was starting to feel like, both in the literature and movie realm, a lot of that's sort of been there, done that. I viewed it as appropriate for children down to about 8 years old. There's fairly little violence, even though there are probably some scary sequences. Through kind of paying attention to what my own daughters were reading and watching and things like that, I learned to not underestimate what they can handle. It's fairly complicated in terms of its writing style, and I'm hoping that the readers will sort of find themselves immersed in this world and trying to kind of almost put themselves or imagine themselves there. It follows along as an example of how badly things can go when you maybe don't pay attention to your history. There's a couple lessons involved in this story. One is that if you kind of trifle with powers that are perhaps beyond what you should, you better be ready for the consequences. Another is that good and evil is not as simple as it often is portrayed in many fantasy stories. Like any picture book, your first inclination when you pick it up is to sort of thumb through all the pages, and you might actually kind of give yourself a spoiler. I think the story is fairly interesting and hopefully compelling, and I'll be trying to figure out a way to urge my readers to try to resist that urge to thumb all the way through to the end and see what happens.